And let me know if you can hear me, because we are supposed to be live. Now, I got a separate window in the chat open here, but it's loading up real slow. There's Mark in the background. And so it says everything is good here, but this is my first time using StreamYard. So let me know if you can hear me. I got the definition cranked up to maximum 720p. I don't want it to be at 480 like it would normally do it. So I'm trying to have it clear. So you can see my room behind me. And I'm going to minimize the YouTube window and talk into my StreamYard window. So like I said, forgive me. This is my first time doing a StreamYard live stream. So I'm just getting used to everything. It's pretty simple so far, but I'm going to type something in the chat here and see how long the delay takes and make sure that I'm good. So if you guys can hear me now, hey, there's Yorn. Hey, finally. So if you guys can hear me, press 1. Right, never mind actually, because I just heard that on Mr. Producer's phone. So that's good. So I'm going to let a couple of people show up here and talk amongst yourselves. Feel free. And we can shoot the shit. So Yorn, how you been, man? Are you on the high seas still? Are you still on the boat? Yorn lives on a boat, from what I remember at least. Hey, Steve Thompson, how's it going, man? Oh, not anymore, eh? It'd probably be the safest place to be, I would imagine. But things are not great here, actually. I got a list, actually, so I don't get sidetracked. It's, yeah, watch live now, Bridge Burners TV. The economic collapse is here. Anyway, it just gave me the notification for my own stream, which I think is pretty funny. But yeah, I have a list of stuff that I want to talk about. That's basically what's going on here. And actually, Twitch Reptic YT, yeah, you're gonna laugh at me, man, but I know the size of my rope. It's 11.7 millimeter, but I don't know what kind of rope it is. Partially that's because at the climbing store, it's not that they don't know, but they have all the ropes laid out there in terms of like diameter, and they basically let you choose one based on texture, and you try your devices with it, and then if you ask them what brand it is, like they can tell you, or like how many strands it is, but I don't know. It's give me a second actually. Oh no, my rope bag is in the truck right now. But yeah, it's 11.7 millimeter climbing rope that I use, and I transferred over from 11 millimeter. When I started using the Spider Jack 3, I wanted to use a little bit of a thicker rope so it would grab it a little bit better, and I find that works a little better. But right now I might even go back to using the 11 millimeter rope because I got used to using the Spider Jack, and it's nice having it slide through there. It's really good. So, all right, might as well get started. And so I don't know. I have an idea where some of you guys are, but I'm in Quebec, Canada, and it's one of the places in Canada, at least, that's been. Hey, what's up, Dead Lust, DL, my man, OG sub from back in the day. But yeah, so Quebec and Canada has been like hit pretty hard. Not in terms of deaths or anything like that, but just in terms of things getting shut down. Ontario is pretty bad too. Things have ground to a standstill for most businesses. And from what I've heard, it's not exactly like this everywhere, but give or take, things are pretty much the same in most places, minus a couple of details. Oh, cool. So Twitch is from England. Yeah, so you know, this is kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. Now, you've undoubtedly seen, especially if you're sub to me, I'm sure you guys have seen other videos that go into, I don't know, I guess what some would call conspiracy theories. I hate calling it that, but call it that for lack of a better word. But you know, I'm sure you've seen all the videos about it, and these guys have articulated what's happening way better than I could. But I'm gonna go and do it anyway because it's really fucked up. Because you know, we watched this happen right before our eyes, and it's funny because you know Mark and I kept looking at each other and saying, "Hey, it's just like Atlas Shrugged," or "Hey, it's just like The Island," or "Hey, it's just like fucking Brave New World," or "Hey, it's just like The Big Short." Hey, it's just like the recession of 2008, but way worse. And you know, like I said, after watching a bunch of these guys that basically are telling you what you know already, I mean, it doesn't really fucking matter. Yeah, except for people who bought Bitcoin 6, 7 years ago. Yeah, same here. So a lot of people are out of work, and here, for instance, there's a shutdown on everything. So schools are shut down. Um, and that's a big one. And people thought it was just going to last for 2 weeks, but so schools were shut down, and they're pretty much shut down like until the end of the semester, so until the summer. And not only that, but bars are closed, restaurants are reduced operating hours. But if you ask me, they should be closed along with everything else. And man, you know, I'm not technically allowed to work most of the time. So I'm not allowed to do like manicuring jobs and that, but I'm considered an essential service if I'm doing a dangerous emergency job because there's no one else that can do it. So that's a first little yeah, dude, dead less, man. I'm gonna get to all that, man. Stick around. Like these are all talking points that I have on my list tonight, man. And Dead Less says I want to go off grid, but I have no allies. And Twitch asked how I did my injury. I did that with a pole saw in a tree. It was on a branch, and I was resting on a branch, and I kicked it, and it got caught in my rope, and it split my arm open. And actually, now you can't like really see it, but it healed up like pretty good. It was what, almost 2 years ago, and I have some loss of sensation, dude. Yo, I feel you, man. I can't do Uber either. I have a truck. But I would never drive people. I would never drive people. But let's say I wanted to do delivery, which I'm going to talk about, by the way, because that's something you can do. Actually, I might as well say it right away. If your fucking state is in lockdown right now, yeah, like this motherfucker here, he says, I've been working every day. Yeah, fuck you guys. Yeah, well, fuck you, motherfucker. We're not allowed to work, but good for you. Just don't fucking die. This guy cleans high-rise buildings, John. And yeah, good for you, man. Proud of you, buddy. Sleeping behind the building that you're working at, hustling. Yeah, man. Get while the getting's good. If you're allowed to work, work. And honestly, if most places like, unless everything is in complete quarantine, here also, by the way, alcohol, cigarettes are still being sold, but fucking and weed at the dispensary, like it's considered essential. And dude, like it's not essential. Sorry, guys. Like I know it feels good and everything, but it's not essential right now. And meanwhile, grocery stores are still open, which I think is good. You know, garages are open, but for the most part, like people doing seasonal work, like they're fucked right now. And like landscapers, for instance, landscapers are fucked because landscapers went all fucking winter, you know, on EI, those guys I do not feel sorry for, but the ones that save enough to or do something else during the winter and are waiting for the season to start up again, even at the chainsaw store down the street, like they were saying that, they're working all year round and they do snow blowers and stuff in the winter, but come April, like the season has to fucking start rolling. Otherwise they suffer. And it's really fucked up. So yeah, like what DL says, the US is going to give people $1,200. That's what it was like in Canada also. They're proposing some asinine fucking thing like that. And that's what really fucking worries me, because see, people don't understand how bad this really is. And there are like thousands of confirmed cases of this every fucking day, but we've yet to see like some actual like concrete, I'm not going to call it evidence, but let's call it that for lack of a better word. But if you watch any of the videos about the survivors, it's completely contradictory. One guy says it was just like a regular flu. Another person said that it took him 40 days to get over it, and he's still getting over it, and it's not that bad, but it was really long. Another guy on the Today Show with Piers Morgan, which I don't fucking trust, by the way, but not because of that, but because he claims that I don't know, he's like 30 years old and he's a multiple marathon runner, and he said that he was coughing up blood and in the hospital with a fucking respirator. Like, yeah, maybe that was the case, but I really don't buy that the flu makes that happen. Now, years ago, when swine flu was like the big scare and everything, I was working as a welder and I got vaccinated against it. And me and another guy just wanted to like ditch work for 15 minutes because you got to go across the street and get vaccinated. And I'm not really like an anti-vaxxer or anything like that. But man, I got sick for a good 2 weeks after that vaccine and I couldn't eat. I was throwing up. And like what I think happened now, like, and I'm really downplaying it, but I have pictures of myself from back then, or I used to anyway, and I lost so much weight even for myself on my already thin frame. And my face was so fucking thin, man, and I couldn't eat. And I kept this up for 2 weeks, and like I wasn't coughing up blood or anything like that, but it was shit. It was like a fucking 2 week long fucking fever, and I was working all along. And everyone was telling me that it was in my head. It wasn't in my head. I'm a very fucking healthy person. I know when I'm fucking sick. I know the difference between throwing up and not throwing up. And sometimes, like, not necessarily in that circumstance, but in other circumstances, like when I had heat stroke or other similar ailments, as a result of pushing yourself too far, I know what it's like to be throwing up all night. And I mean all fucking night. Like, so does Mark, man. Like, no exaggeration. Like, this shit sucks. But what the flu does, 99% sure it's not as bad as the last case that I just described. But there aren't enough of them yet. We don't know enough. So how come? How come there's not more information about it? Now, be that as it may, I don't even doubt that it's real, but at this point it doesn't matter. The economy is already fucking collapsed. And people are out of work. Small, medium businesses are the first ones to fucking suffer. And we are going to suffer the fucking hardest. And that's really the reason I did this fucking stream. Because, dude, man, we were thrown under the fucking bus. And like I said, the most frustrating thing is that, look, if you have your own business, especially if you're on the low level, like if you're kind of unregistered, and you're allowed to operate unregistered, by the way, most places, if you make under 30 grand, you're allowed technically legally to operate unregistered. So it doesn't even matter if you're unregistered, but like if you are unregistered, definitely thrown under the bus, like you're fucking cannon fodder. Even if it's like your first season or second season or third season, like good luck. You're going to get $1,200 like everybody else. As if that's going to make a difference. Again, you do seasonal work. It snows half the year. You can only work half the fucking year. And during the half of the year that you have your business set up, you can't fucking work, and the government's going to give you some money after. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't help you get customers. You have to close up shop. I'm lucky in the sense that I don't have a physical location for my business. My business just relies like on the actual service I provide. But even though as an arborist, let's say, and if you guys are just starting out or if you're the same phase that I'm in, a lot of guys, man, they're fucking shut down. They work for bigger companies. They're going on employment insurance. They don't have a fucking care in the world, man. They're going to wait for it to start back up again. And until then, they're going to get like 60% of their salary, hopefully more, because this is unprecedented and they deserve more money for sitting at home. And they don't have a fucking care in the world, man. But if you're surviving on the black market, which I commend you if you are, because honestly, the black market is the closest representation that you can get to the free market these days. It's unregulated, and that's it. There's complete freedom, and it's largely illegal, even if you're not doing anything wrong. Like, just because the government's not getting a cut, like after a certain point, technically, these are all gifts that you receive in exchange for favors. So, but whatever, you take advantage of the fact that it's technically a gray area, and if you start selling something on the black market, even on Craigslist or Kijiji or Garage Sale or something else, like whatever. But this is the best way to learn, how to start a business and how to maintain a business and how to live off that business. If you can walk away from your job that gives you a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks because you have a better idea, like what I wanted to mention before. Yeah. So DL, he said that he couldn't even get on Uber. I understand that. And that's another bullshit thing too. Uber has a fucking special deal now with McDonald's among other restaurants, and they're offering free delivery. It's like, yo, don't get food from fucking McDonald's, man. If this is quarantine and we're supposed to be on quarantine, everyone should be on quarantine. And people too, the reality is all government jobs for now anyway are safe. And all corporations wherein the government has its filthy fucking fingers are pretty much like gonna get through this short term unaffected, at least. And I know it's fucking depressing, but because these people fucking understand the least about fucking everything, they're the least qualified to do anything. And they're least qualified to do anything. And dude, I know, man. You guys, like, you're hustling so fucking hard just to get your fucking foot in the door. And then you get your foot in the door and you can't even fail in business for your own reasons. You can't even fail because you suck or, because the fish aren't biting or because there's a natural disaster like the COVID-19 virus. And it's like literally wiping people out. And no, you have to fail. You're being forced to fail because you're being fucking prohibited from fucking working. And sorry for the delay, guys. I'm sticking to watching this just on the StreamYard screen. So yeah, that behind me at the door, that's Mark. That's my roommate / Mr. Producer. He's a filmer. He's my rigger and ground man. You can see him in all of our fucking videos. So yeah, if you haven't subbed, by the way, Twitch Reptic, you should sub. Because this is rare content that I'm putting out now. I make more climbing videos, but a lot of the time I want to state my opinion on stuff. But to tell you guys the truth, I tried to make a video the other day talking about all this stuff, but I ran out of time. And I didn't like the way it turned out because I wasn't able to get everything off my fucking chest. But yeah, a couple of channels that I recommend watching that explain what's going on very well. Things that you probably already know, but they help you arm yourselves a little bit. There's one called the Atlantis Report. Really good, man. He gets a lot of his info from like Peter Schiff and stuff like that. But Peter Schiff, also watch Peter Schiff's fucking latest podcast. It's 4 hours long. He predicted everything. He predicted everything in fucking 2008. But if you're familiar with totalitarianism at all, even if you just read stories about it, it all happens like this. So, like, yeah, dude, yeah, dialysis. He just finished trade school and he wasn't expecting this. That's another thing. Years ago, that's why I'm so anti-government and anti-establishment. Part of the reason, because I went through all the motions, and I'm not a fool. I'm not a fucking idiot. I always got good grades. I always worked very, very, very hard. And in trade school, I foolishly thought that. Thanks, man. Thanks for subbing. I foolishly thought that going to trade school and getting good grades in trade school, coming out, I was going to have people lining up to offer me jobs. And that wasn't the case. If you just finish trade school, you probably know that there are no grades on the exams. It's pass or fail. And it's really hard to fail. So there's no grade, just pass or fail. And it doesn't necessarily help you. A lot of industries demand it, but some of them don't. Some of them just want someone who's good. And look, Ben, it's just up to you to pick and choose the right one. When I wanted to work in the auto body repair industry, that's the trade that I took. I took auto body repair, painting, and mechanics. And I wasn't able to fucking get a job in any of the industries because even though I consider myself good, like among my peers, I was good. I'm pretty much fully equipped. I can do everything from home. I learned a lot. You know, I do most things on my truck. I even painted and clear coated my truck, half of it, the damaged part. And like, you know, you can't really tell unless I tell you, you know, so I did a fucking good job, but I could never work in the industry because I didn't have the experience that they wanted and the course wasn't good enough. Yet in the welding industry, I have experience as a welder and I'm a very good welder also, but a lot of welding places, they want the certification. Because again, just because they get a government grant for hiring fucking certified welders and stuff, and the arborist community is a lot like that if you're going to work for a big company, but it's bullshit working for a big company. They don't pay you anywhere near what you're worth. You know, if you're going to get $30 an hour as an arborist working for someone else, you're going to have to drag branches for them for like 10 years in a row. And there's no fucking way I'm doing that, man. There's no fucking way I'm doing that for 10 years so that I can be driven around to 5 different spots in a day and be expected to climb and take down like 20 fucking trees, man, for like $300. Like, no way, man. Work for yourself. You can make, you can make 10 times that amount in a day. I've yet to make it. I've yet to make $3,000 in a day, but I've made $2,000 in a day several times. And that honestly, guys, that's nothing. You know, and you get the taste of the success and it's fucking great. And then you never, ever, ever want to go back. And yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean shit. So all this shit, man, about, you know, the giant bailout, you know, I want to talk about that too, but you know, like the main thing, not that it fucking matters right now, but you know, there are studies from 2007 and there are like YouTube videos from 2007 that link the fact that like people in China eat bats and shit to, big surprise, the coronavirus that bats carry that like otherwise isn't transmittable to humans. And anyway, regardless of that, you know, China fucking lied about it. They lied about containment. And, you know, 14, I think 14 or 40, I can't remember. I think it's 14 million fucking accounts just fucking vanished in China. Like social media, phone accounts, like everything. They're just done, finished. So does that mean that people died? I don't, or, you know, were erased? I don't fucking know. Nobody knows. You can't find numbers for Chinese deaths or cases. You can't. It's all fucking hidden. And, you know, the fucked up thing is that, you know, among you guys, you know, we're all pretty much the same mentality. But man, like over here, man, if you say what I'm saying, man, 99 people out of 100 believe the opposite, and they're just going to call you racist. And they're going to dismiss it as like a crackpot, like white supremacist fucking theory. It's not that, man. The economy is fucking collapsed now because you didn't want to fucking look racist. And all China had to do was close its fucking borders. And short of that, all the other countries had to do was close their fucking borders. Especially if this virus is as bad as everyone says it is. Like, yeah, I agree. And you know, people tried, man, there are so many stories about people trying to fucking report on it from China, actual Chinese people that went or made the mistake of trying to go against their establishment. And, you know, they were pretty much fucking erased, you know? And yeah, like if they were fucking lucky. And look at the MMA fighter, Xiaodong, the winter melon, they call him, fuck, that wanted to expose like the fucking fakeness of the traditional martial arts, the Chinese martial arts and the money grab, you know? And he wanted to prove that a fucking shitty fucking over the hill past his prime never was fighter could beat the shit out of a fucking kung fu master that charges, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every year to his students. They charge their students just to use their name, and they get paid royalties when someone teaches them a move that like, or teaches a move that they were taught by them. It's complete fucking bullshit. And, you know, they ban sparring. school to school. It's all fucking carefully fucking orchestrated. So the outcome looks a certain way. And this guy's basically like, look, man, it doesn't take anyone that even knows how to fight to fucking destroy you, and I'll destroy you. And they censored him in fucking China. And he's not allowed to fucking fly anywhere. He's not allowed to do anything. His social credit score is fucking destroyed. If he wants to fight in China, he has to fucking cover his shirt, because he has to cover his chest because he has tattoos, and you're not allowed to show tattoos in China, like on your chest or back. And he has to wear fucking paint because his face is fucking banned over there. And all this to like expose like, a fake fucking industry. And that's what they fucking do, man. Like in communist fucking dictatorships. And we love that shit over here. Our media, we love that shit. We eat that shit up, man. And it's so trendy to appear to be compassionate by running or virtue signaling that you care about the weak and you love propping up the weak and, those who can't help themselves. And, like very few people actually can't help themselves. And, like the ones that actually can't, like if they're worth a damn, like they don't really have any issues. Yeah, I know that there are exceptions. And I know everyone has a story like this, but there's a dude fucking down the street, Richard. Like he's in a wheelchair, but he has no arms and no legs. He has like, short arms and stuff, but his wheelchair is not mechanical. And he like pushes that shit like outside, like every fucking day. And he pushes it uphill. I've been watching this dude for 7 fucking years, man. And we helped him move actually, and he paid us money. Yeah, he paid us money and he bought us McDonald's first. The fucking happy dude. Fucking life gave him a fucking terrible fucking deal. And not only that, this guy has fucking kids. He has grandkids. He's not married because he's fucking smart. But he has a girlfriend. And his girlfriend's fucking hot, man. And like they met because this guy was fucking wheeling up the street with like groceries in his backpack or something. And this lady fucking pulled over next to him and she asked him if he wanted help. And he was like, no, I'm cool. And they started to talk and they went out for dinner. And like a few years later, like, like happily ever after, so to speak. And when this guy was staying at her house, she lived on the fucking 3rd floor. And I asked him like, yo, do you need like a lift or something? Like when we helped him move, I'm like, I don't know how to do this shit, And he's like, no, don't worry about it. And he like hops out of his wheelchair and he leaves his wheelchair at the bottom of the apartment. And he fucking goes up the fucking stairs on what he has, the like little elbows kind of. And he goes on the floor around the apartment like that. Not a fucking complaint, man. And, like my whole point is that, and this guy, he gets fuck all from the government, right? He gets like a fucking pittance, he gets like fucking less than like a welfare mom gets with one kid, and it's like barely enough to pay rent. And like, he actually helps us like get customers with our business. He helps us he gives our cards out and he like talks us up and stuff like that. And like my whole point is like this guy does not rely on the government because this guy's a good dude. And that's exactly what the government wants to do. They want to trick you into thinking that without them, you can't possibly survive. So all these fucking idiots, all these fucking sheeple, all these people that never risked anything, all these people that took the easy way out, took what they thought were easy jobs where you don't have to risk anything and you get paid like no matter what and like all this stuff like that. Unfortunately, in the short term, it's going to seem like they're making out okay because they kind of will be. And it sucks, especially if you just started your own thing. Like we're year 3 now and this is fucking us over hardcore. And we have like contingency plans in place and stuff like that. But, it's not going smoothly because the problem isn't necessarily all on our end. Other fucking people are forced to not be able to work too, and they don't have money to spend. So that's like what makes the economy go around. So it doesn't matter. They can print as much fucking money as they want, but it's not going to matter if there are no goods or services to back all this fucking money. So what I wanted to fucking mention next. Okay, so yeah, and look, this makes a lot of sense because the only places that are still open now, even the marijuana dispensary is open because like the government gets a huge fucking cut of marijuana sales. Alcohol and tobacco are still being sold because the government gets a huge fucking cut out of alcohol and tobacco sales. And, they claim that it's because the 4% of people that are supposedly alcoholics like would detox and go crazy. So yeah, as if you care about them. Honestly, I don't care about them. Let them fucking detox and go crazy. I don't give a shit about them. You did this to your fucking selves, man. It's not my fucking problem. Drug addicts can't get fucking drugs. That's the fucking least of my fucking concern in this fucking situation right now. It is 7:30 p.m. where I am right now. Twitch Reptic. Because you asked. Sorry, I'm still delayed here a little bit, but yeah, doing my best to keep up with you. So yeah, it's like it's really fucked up. And you know, the lesson, dude, and if you guys tried to start your fucking side hustle or started your own business or were able to walk away from your job and survive on the black market, you know, you took an ad out and you started mowing lawns or cutting hedges or cutting trees or washing windows or selling t-shirts or doing any of this shit, man, you know how fucking liberating it is and you know how good it is. But you know also that you're going to have no support from your peers. And you're also going to know that most of your peers are not really your peers. You know, you hung around with them for social reasons, but when it comes down to it, like you're going to see that most of your friends were fair weather friends at best. And for the dude that asked who it was behind me, that's the fucking best foul weather friend like you'll ever find in the fucking world, man. And like Mark has fucking stood by me and endured near death experiences like without a fucking complaint. And like the only concern that he had was how the show was going to go on. So like DL said, you know, he wants to go off grid. Stick around, man, because you know, we're probably going to have to. And it's going to come down to the people that are able to survive on their own and the people who are not. And I don't pretend to be completely self-sufficient. I'm not. There's a lot I don't know, but there's a lot I do know, and there's a lot that I'm able to do. And there's a lot I'm able to do and that we are able to do with very, very, very little. And we made it this way. You know, we've been practicing for this. We've been studying and prepping for this. It happened before we were ready, but that's usually always the case. So, you know, so the thing is, if you're starting your own business or you just started your own business, you're going to hear it's never going to work all the time. You know, almost all the time, everyone's going to tell you it's never going to work. And then for whatever reason, and any hiccup that ever happens, they're going to rush to tell you they told you so and that's why I don't do what you do. Or they're going to convince themselves, they're going to trick themselves into thinking that they're important, too important to do what you do. Yeah, they're going to be like, oh, how's business? Slow? And you're like, no, I made like $1,000 today. It was really good. And they're like, yeah, but you don't make that every day. It's like, well, yesterday I made $800. And they're like, yeah, but every day, what do you do in the winter? It's like, fuck, you're already looking for fucking holes. Like, dude, man, I bet you never made $1,000 in a day in your entire fucking life, man. And you took some fucking warehouse fucking job, man, as a chump. Like, man, I've actually had conversations with people. I'm sure you guys have had too. I'm fed up of hearing this shit. I got fed up of hearing it about people that complain about their job. And then you ask them, why don't you do something else? And they're like, I can't. It's like, what are you, fucking retarded? You're that stupid. You know how stupid you fucking sound? I'm literally too dumb to do anything else. It's like, okay, we'll do the same thing, but do it like for yourself. I can't. Why not? Are you fucking retarded? It's like a professional chef that like doesn't like the restaurant he works at. It's like, okay, well, why do you work there? And he's like, well, I can't cook anywhere else. Who else is going to give me a job? It's like anyone should be able to give you a job if you're good at what you do. And if they don't, fuck them. Do it for yourself. Take all your experience and do it for yourself. You're going to make like fucking 10 times as much money. Well, now I'm on fucking work fucking lockdown, so I'm not making fuck all right now, man. But like, yeah, you can doing tree work. Like if you keep your operating expenses small, you can make out pretty good. But it's kind of a fool's errand to look at it like that because you always have operating expenses and the equipment that you spend in order to do a job quickly and efficiently, you know, it could potentially cost thousands of dollars. Like I have a fucking binder full of receipts for all stuff that I bought from the job, not gas or anything like that, just like work related stuff, you know, and like it adds up. And like, you know, the chainsaw pants are about $200 a pair and I have 4 pairs of them. And those are the ones I buy. You can buy some for $500 a pair, but I don't buy them because I don't like them. A tree worker working for another company, like for a big company, you can expect to make anywhere between 15 like starting wages, like if you don't know anything, If you have a little bit of experience working on the ground dragging branches, they might give you $20. But if you have like 10 years of climbing experience, you might get $30 an hour. Hey, AJ, what's up, man? But if you work for yourself, my first year doing tree work, this is talking about my first year, so like 3 seasons ago, working for myself. Um, I had many days my first year. I lost count. This again, my first year, man. Like essentially I didn't know shit. I was learning like as I went about business and like pricing and everything. But my first year I had many days where I made $500 or more that day. And many days. And days where I would work 5 days a week and I would make over $500 most days. And I wouldn't work 10 hours a day. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you have to, but most of the time I wouldn't. Because I didn't like, 10 hours on the job site. And let's say it's an hour to get there and an hour to come back and an hour to load your stuff and an hour to unload your tools. And like, it could take you fucking hours to unload all the fucking wood and then take your stuff off and like lay it out for it to dry for the next day. Like, it's not fucking fun. It's not fun unless you have a big crew. Like we don't like working every day. Also, if you're doing like all the work yourself, so I do all the climbing and Mark does all the rigging, and then we kind of meet in the middle at the end and we take care of the wood and the branches together, but we do a lot of work, fucking, like we hustle a lot, and at the end you're really fucking tired. So yeah, like we're practicing all the time to get better at this, but the goal is not to work fucking 70 hours a week. The goal is to lead a balanced life. And we love doing what we do, which is why we do it. And it's very lucrative. Another great reason to do it. But again, it's a balance. It's just like skateboarding. I don't want to skateboard for 70 hours a fucking week either. Usually 2 hours, I'm good. Even between an hour and 2 hours. And that's ever since I was a kid. Fuck. It's only if I was like trying to leave the house and avoid my parents or something that I'd go off and skate for 8 hours, or that I was going somewhere far away and I was taking the bus. But yeah, it's all a fucking balance, man. Like running too, I love to run, but I don't want to run for fucking 12 hours a day. An hour a day is good. 4 or 5 days a week is good. Fuck, it doesn't even have to be fucking, I've done that shit, man, every day, twice a day. It's too much. Yeah, moderation is key. And you learn, and you learn like to see like what works and what's overkill and what doesn't. And work is like that. And it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun to kind of, and also it rains and shit like that. So when it rains, you get a day off. So, you plan your week accordingly and you take breaks when you need to. And, even if you want to push yourself, if you want to work 70 hours in the tree, what I find you can't, because you get muscle cramps, and muscle cramps, it's like a miniature version of a muscle tear. And if you've seen videos of muscle tears, I recommend checking that out, because that's pretty much what happens when your muscles cramp after heat stroke. Except if you're lucky, it kind of like resets and they don't tear, but it's bad, man. You visibly see your muscles pop out of place all over. Anytime you reach over to the side, your pec is going to jam, or your arm, and it's not going to go back. It's really fucked up, man. It's a fucking nightmare, man. And so yeah, like AJ says, man, too much of anything creates burnout. Chronicles of AJ has a channel, by the way. He makes a lot of good content. He uploads regularly. And he understands business and shit like that. That's the first video I ever saw of yours, by the way, man. You were talking about hypergamying your way into a better deal. And I was like, this guy understands everything, fuck. And yeah, that was really cool. So the whole thing is, so if you work for yourself, you're used to hearing that it's never going to work. And the hard part is blocking them out. The hardest part is succeeding and doing the actual job and doing it right. But people are so caught up in the red tape and the obstacles and the reasons why you can't do it or you shouldn't do it or why it's a risk and it's not guaranteed. And that's what makes it better when you get your reward, that it's not guaranteed. And it's like, with this collapse right now in place, most fucking businesses are forced to shut down. This is like the ultimate I told you so from anyone that took a government job. And that's like the sad thing, because I don't mean just like government workers. I don't mean like customs agents and stuff. I mean like anyone. I mean like teachers, daycare fucking people. People that are in the health industry, not like in the hospital, but like, and I don't even mean like physiotherapy clinics. I mean like lower than that. like wellness clinics and shit like that, where they have like health professionals and like wellness professionals and like it's fucked, man. And if they're not deemed essential, yeah, most people are blue pilled employed. That's exactly it, man. And I mentioned that in one of my videos like years ago because I was learning. I made videos in my room talking at first, and I had seasonal work in the winter. I knew I was getting fired from my job in the winter, but I just thought like every year I'm going to find another seasonal job and have my side hustle in the summer, and I'll do this forever, and it's fine. And I start like I don't know. I think it was getting a wood stove for the first time, but I was so fucking unprepared, man. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. That's why I can never go back to, I would like to, but I can never go back to making those videos where like the only thing I have to fucking complain about is like the caliber of bitches that I'm banging or the things that are annoying me about them. Like now, like, that I've taken the time to really look and try to figure out how shit works. And I've seen how the fucking gears work inside the fucking machine. It's going to take a lot of fucking work, man, to tinker with that, to make it work to my advantage. And I know how to do it. And a lot of you guys know how to do it too. But this thing is a giant fucking stick in our fucking gears. Because like I said before, it's hard enough just to get your business off the ground. And then it's hard enough because no one fucking believes in you. And then it's hard enough because none of your friends on Facebook share your shit. None of your friends on Instagram fucking share your posts. Nobody that you know will even review you on Google or even recommend your services. No one will. No one will. And it's like, it's I know I should be over this because it happened a long time ago for me. Well, a long time ago, recently enough, a couple of years, but it's like I'm fucking reliving it each time I talk about it. And it pisses me off because I watch people I know, my peers, people I met on my channel that like start their own businesses and stuff like that. And they're going through the same thing. And some of them, they know right away, but other people, they're like, yeah, well, you know what, Greg, like, no offense, but I like my friends like me more than your friends like you, and my friends are going to support me in my business. Like, yo, I hope you're right, but don't count on it, man. It's like, don't count on it, and it just means that the standards like by which you met these people are not the same standards that like you would hold a new friend to today. Yeah, man, strangers are your best customers. I'll give you an example. And, even it's true on YouTube. If you want to change content on YouTube because you're constantly evolving like a person should, then a lot of your subscribers that are there for the original content, even if you're going up, even if your videos, let's say you're unemployed when you start making YouTube videos. Okay. And this is a fucking thing. Okay. So stay with me. Let's say you're unemployed and you make a bunch of videos about how to get a job. And then you actually get a job. And you start making videos about like how to keep a job or like how to get a raise or like how to get a better job. Or I don't know, how to get a girlfriend or something. Most of the people there, your original subscribers, you'd think that they'd kind of try to evolve with you, but they're going to get mad at you because they're going to want you to make videos about how to get a job again. And it's like, dude, I have a job. I'm past that point. Okay. Case in point, watch any fucking incel video. That's all I have to say about that. Blue Skies Media. Oh my God. The train wreck. That's, AJ, you posted a fucking Hamoudi video. Oh boy. I don't, that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that in this fucking stream. But yeah, I'm just checking my list here. So yeah, the essential services. And if you're listed in essential service, then and you work for yourself, good. And the loophole for arborists, if you guys have a fucking tree business, you can get by doing emergency work. Like I said before, if you're a landscaper, you're kind of fucked. But if you're an arborist or you do hedges or something like that, you can watch the landscapers' reaction to all of this because they're not allowed to work right now. And right now there's still snow on the ground here, so you can't really tell. But if the landscapers are out in full force and you're a fucking tree guy or a hedge guy, then you're allowed to be out in full force because landscaping is not essential. Yeah, like a lot of people like pay for it, like they don't want to do it, but it's not essential. Like, the grass can grow. It can get fucking 10 feet tall And it's not going to, but it can. It's not essential, but you have to watch. You have to watch what the landscapers do. And I don't mean what they do. Like, I mean, you have to watch the consequences of their actions. And for climbing here, like my buddy Pat, shout out to Pat if you're watching, who works at the climbing store, SL Tech, that always hooks us up. He told me today that they closed down, and he manufactures safety equipment, and he's a retailer of safety equipment for professionals. So technically, um, they're considered essential. So they're allowed to be open, but it's their choice if, they're not. So let's say somehow, you're considered an essential service, and great. But if you're not, like, it's going to be really hard to find ways to kind of like, bounce back through this. And one of the ways I wanted to talk about before that you said that DL, you said you couldn't do Uber. And what Mark and I were planning on doing was because we modified our ads, saying that we're working in the time of crisis. And if you guys are private vendors, or if you have an online ad, I would suggest modifying the ad to say that you're equipped to do emergency jobs, whatever those jobs are. Doesn't matter if you're an arborist, whatever you do. You're equipped to do emergency jobs in this time of crisis, and you're equipped to do the entire transaction without a face-to-face encounter. So, set up a way to get paid in advance, even if it's e-transfer. And I'm going to get to cashless currency later, even though I don't like recommend it. But for the short term, even if it's fucking e-transfer or a fucking envelope with money in the fucking mailbox. So where I'm going with this is that a lot of people can't go out and get groceries. So if you have a car, if it's clean, if you're clean, if you have some basic fucking, safety equipment, what you can do, you can take out an ad. You can take out an ad on Craigslist. You can take out an ad on Kijiji in Canada. You can take out an ad on a Virage sale. You could probably even advertise it on eBay if you had no other way to do it, but use whatever black market or Facebook marketplace, whatever, and take out an ad for food deliveries and for grocery deliveries. And that's a way you can make money now. You're not allowed to sell toilet paper, water bottles, or hand sanitizer here. You're not allowed. You're going to get fucking fined and like possibly thrown in jail even. How fucking fucked up is that? They try to regulate everything, even in times of crisis. Don't they see that's what got us here? Like, it's true that they need to deregulate everything. And just be a gigolo and make money smashing thoughts. Yeah, man. If you could, if I really weren't afraid of the disease, then that's what I would try to do. But I was supposed to smash a thought last week, but I had like a 2-day window and it wasn't smart. So I did the good thing and ghosted her and blocked her. And that's that. Anyway, but that's like, right before this fucking shit kind of like happened into full force. Then I thought about what I was about to do. And I was like, yeah, fuck that. So that's that. So yeah, the whole thing, like what we were talking about before, about the about the blue pill jobs kind of being safe for the short term. And most of these guys are going to go on employment insurance. And again, things are going to start up again. It doesn't change. They get some time off. That's all. That's the only way they look at it. But, if you built your business, if you built some sort of business and you have a basic understanding of economics, and, I don't mean you have to be university educated. I mean, if you're in the fucking market, if you're fucking in there, if you're making fucking deals, like if your job like requires you to make sales, to collect money from customers, to do work, to provide a service, you do all that shit yourself and you pay your bills and you survive that way, then you have a good understanding of microeconomics. And macroeconomics are very similar. It's just on a fucking large scale. And the fucking pitfalls of borrowing money that you can't fucking pay back. And basically now what they want to do, they want to offer $1,200 to people, like a one-time fucking deal. And that's going to cost the country, I think, $3 trillion. And in Canada, they want to do the same thing. And now what I read, and it's going to cost us the same. Per capita, our debt is worse than yours, by the way. And it's really fucked up. And it stands to reason also that China would like owe some sort of fucking reparation for all this. And, it stands to reason, at least case scenario, it's like, If I were the states, I would say, yeah, we're not paying you anything of what we owe you. You destroyed the entire fucking world now by lying about it. Fuck. An epidemic that you fucking created. And like, no. And like, what has to happen now, because people are not allowed to work. And, rent is coming up and people can't pay their rent. And people are saying, well, we'll pay your rent and then the government's going to send you some money. Pay your rent with the last of your money and the government's going to send you some money. Or if you can't pay your rent, well, that's on you because you should have been saving. Well, yeah, not necessarily. Like, easy for you to say. And, when you're running your own show, things go up and down all the time. It's a constant fucking gamble and risk. And it's like every time you buy new equipment, even, you could exhaust your funds. You can't only spend like no more than 2% of what you make all the time. Then it would take you fucking forever to get established and you wouldn't have any equipment to do any jobs. You have to take risks. And sometimes, you just re-upped on your equipment and then a fucking economic shutdown happens because of a virus that may or may not actually exist. So, some things are just out of your control. But one thing is for sure, the people that are going to come out of it okay, short term, yeah, it's like fucking, it's going to be the government and most blue-pilled fucking idiots. But really, like, long term, it's going to be the people that hold on the longest. And a lot of us aren't going to make it. But, like, I'm fucking imploring you not to give up. And it sounds like a really sweet deal, what they're giving, especially in Canada. They're offering fucking $2,000 a month now for entrepreneurs. If you can't work for several months. But I don't want $2,000 a month. I want to be allowed to work. And if I'm not allowed to work, then I'm not going to pay for anything. Because how could I? And there's also a moratorium on mortgage payments in Canada and in the States. Six major banks in Canada, and I believe 10 major banks in the States are all allowing, what's the word? Fuck. But basically, it's okay to default for 3 months. But you have to put it into effect. You have to call and put it into effect. And they're still going to charge interest, but it happens. And I was looking this up on the government website, actually. It's not hearsay. And there was a landlord even in the paper that made it to the paper because he's the only landlord that actually did this. Because if if people can't fucking work and his tenants can't work and he doesn't have to pay, so he's not charging his tenants rent until this fucking ends. And if your landlord isn't that nice, well, it doesn't matter. You're under no obligation to pay because the rental board is closed for 3 months. And like I said, even if he didn't activate it, like, he doesn't have to fucking, that's on him. So, dude, man, what do you think we're doing next month? We can't work. We're not spending our hard-earned cash on nothing, waiting for the fucking government to bail us out with more paper. It's just paper. It's a pile of paper. Look, think about how ridiculous that is. Think about what you do for a living and how hard you fucking work. And at the end of the day, like, you're going to get like a pile of paper and that's supposed to make everything work out. Like what my parents told me, this is kind of sad, but I kind of, like, my dad's like kind of fucking red pilled on the matter, but I was telling him it was bad. I said, it's collapsed. It's finished. You can't work. Like, I can't work. And my mom's solution was, oh, don't worry. We'll lend you a credit card if things go bad. It's like, I appreciate that. That's not the point though. And that's not going to help. It's not something that's it's the opposite of what needs to happen. And, what really needs to fucking happen is what's supposed to happen. So, like, the economy, I mean, they shut it down, but it needs to crash. It needs to crash for it to get rebuilt. And the whole thing is that I don't think, and this is what, this is kind of the capitalist dream, because this socialist fucking nightmare, it's going to end, hopefully, when this blows over, whenever that may be. Just got to weather the storm of fucking unemployment and lockdown and quarantine and not being able to do anything. And, this is all going to blow over. And then, everyone's going to have learned their lesson. And, government overreach is going to end, and we're going to let entrepreneurs do their thing. And, we're going to end fiat currency. None of that's going to happen. What's going to happen is that they're going to inflate the economy even more with all these fucking bailouts that they're going to give, because people are going to take them. And even if some people don't, the vast majority will, especially if they offer to give it to everybody. And if they give every single citizen $1,000, that's going to hyperinflate the economy. Twitch Reptic, my next video, I don't know. I might practice climb in a couple of days, or, in the next couple of days, and upload something. I have some trees in my yard, but I haven't been doing much work in the field. So I don't have footage of that to put up, unfortunately. But I wanted to mainly give you guys a status update on what was happening tonight, what was happening here for me, and to find out what's been happening with you guys. Like John G, who's actually working right now, which is good for him. And I'm just reading through my talking points here, and it's fucked up because the details about jobs are very murky, and just finding out if you're allowed to work is very hard to do. And finding out on the website, on the government website, again, unless you're directly on that list, you still could be allowed to work, but it's hard to find, and you're going to have to justify your case. It's kind of like going to court. You have to pick your argument, and you have to go by your argument the entire time. And that's what you're going to have to do. But the food delivery, it's not the ideal thing. I would much rather work doing my skill. But, it might be a viable option. And I don't even just mean for old people. Those are the people that are going to be paying for it now. But soon, like, a lot of people don't want to go in public. Also, there's crazy lines and shit. Who wants to go through all of that? So, until it becomes illegal to travel, that's something you can do. Gas is really cheap too. So buy fucking gas, because their plan to fucking fix all of this in the end is to make airlines carbon neutral or something. And what the fuck is that going to do? And they're going to say that capitalism got us into this mess. Imagine when the economy starts up again and landscapers and arborists, as a result, the only thing is that we're not allowed to use gas-powered tools. They could say that. They could say gas-powered tools brought us coronavirus. I fucking hate that. And, like I was saying before, I heard people have gotten sick. I've heard of other YouTubers getting sick and stuff like that. And Diesel's still up, Steve says. And if you guys are sick, I feel bad for you. And I hope you guys get well soon. And I hope none of your family gets sick. And I hope it's a really smooth fucking transition. And I hope it passes just like that. Having said that, right now, the disease is the least of our worries. It's the economic stoppage that really, really has me worried. And has me worried too, because the fucking government is telling you to take this time to catch up with your family and go on Facebook and stuff. Are you fucking kidding me, man? You guys don't even know what the fuck you're doing. And let me be very clear. The government has no money. The Fed has no money. And even less than they have money, they have no idea what they're doing. And the Federal Reserve will print more money. And there's something in place. A lot of you guys know about it, because a lot of you guys have mentioned in the comments of my earlier videos from years and years ago. But a lot of you guys know about Agenda 21. And Agenda 21 is basically a globalist plot to reduce everyone to basically animals in a pen. Yeah, Facebook is shit, man. I've been off there for years. It's basically to reduce everyone to the level of animals in a pen, living in the same size house, eating the same size ration food every day, wearing the same fucking color shirt, doing the same job, going to sleep at the same fucking time. And everything is fucking socialized, everything. And there's no individuality and there's no independence. This is an actual fucking plan in place. It's not a fucking conspiracy. You can read about it on, and even the Wikipedia version, which is I'll say biased to the left slightly, Like, even the Wikipedia version makes it sound fucking horrible. But some people, they see this and they're like, wow, it's a dream. You know, it's like, you guys see the movie Office Space, and where the main character asks his friends, he says, can you imagine, like, if we're still doing this job when we're 50? And the Indian guy is like, it would be nice to have that type of job security. It's like, oh, it's like, believe in yourself, man. You can do so much more. And, or you can't. And, you know, I know a lot of people that can't. And that's a sad reality of it, because people have to kind of red pill themselves. That's the only way, I think. And a lot of people are going to come to terms with the fact that they're not doing something that they like. And if you're not doing something that you like, then you're fucked, man. Like recession, depression, or no depression. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? You're wasting your life that you don't want to do. You know, like, it's stupid. Fuck. Like, you're dumb. There's no excuse. There's no excuse to do something that you don't like and that you're not good at, or to not at least try to get paid what you're worth. You know, a lot of us, we don't get paid what we're worth, especially if we're working for other people. But if you take it on the chin, then you're a little bitch, man. And, you know, I had this conversation with people too. Jobs now, it's slavery. You can't negotiate anything. You can't negotiate your hours. You can't negotiate your salary. You can't negotiate your responsibilities. You can't negotiate your schedule. You can't negotiate anything. Everyone gets the same deal. Everyone. Why? How the fuck is that fair? How the fuck is that correct? You know, and like, you know, right now, like, if you guys want, like, to pass the time and stuff like that, you know, a lot of good, like, documentaries you can watch, and lots of videos and stuff. And like, I know I always talk about Atlas Shrugged, but you can watch all that shit on Tubi, on tubitv.com. They got part 1, 2, and 3. They have great fucking documentaries on there, and it's all free. Yeah, I agree, AJ. That's I think that's like the real version of it, because I don't think you can be MGTOW and, like, just be single, but, like, live under someone else's thumb. You know, like, you work for a corporation and you're, like, afraid to show your face. You're, like, afraid to show your views. It's like the people that are afraid of, like, spouting their views on the internet because they're afraid to get censored. If you're afraid, then censorship has already worked. You know, and you guys, like, if you have dissident views, if you have contradictory opinions, I encourage you, like, with all my heart, to fucking scream your dissident views as loud as you can on the internet where everyone can hear you, because it matters more than you think. And the more you keep your opinions to yourself, especially if your opinions go against what the mainstream thinks, the more that the few of us that do fucking go against the grain, you know, the more likely we are to die, because we're a lot stronger when we're together. Even when we're not together, even, like, we don't even have to be grouped together. But as long as there are a lot of people fucking questioning the way things work, it makes people understand that it's okay to question the way things work. And maybe the way things work is not the way they should work. But if everyone keeps quiet about it, how is it going to get better? How can it get better? So I think, you know, Agenda 21, it was basically his fucking plan. It's still in effect, but it's going to be a slow burn. But it's like New World Order type shit, like, when it comes down to it. And just slowly and surely, they're taking away everyone's rights. Environmental Protection Agency, you know, electric car, cashless currency. Cashless currency is a big one too. And one world government. And okay, well, what? It's just a coincidence? Am I crazy? Look, man, schools shut down. 60% of businesses shut down. Only thing that are open, fucking alcohol, cigarettes, grocery stores, fast food fucking restaurants. Best Buy is open. Marijuana, all government shit, but there's essentially fucking martial law right now. Luckily, our Canadian military is fucking weak, but we're not even allowed to arm ourselves as a populace. We have no free speech. We have no Second Amendment. We don't even have our own country. We rent all our shit from England, technically. And no Canadian has a problem with this. Like, you know, like, we're cucked beyond fucking belief. The only reason I'm still fucking living here is because 90% of this country is uninhabited. And that's where I'm going as soon as I can. That's where we're going as soon as we can. Me and the man in the fucking doorway. And the dog, he was in here before, but he's in the other room now somewhere. And that's what the fuck we're doing. And you can get land for really cheap. You're going to be able to get a lot of stuff for really cheap right now that people are going to tell you are non necessities. And honestly, guys, that's the only reason we're staying here. And like I said before, that the States should negate its debt with China. Like, if the States does that, don't worry, man. Like, we love communism in Canada. Trudeau loves fucking China. Everything that the States turns away, we take here. And people also, they're like, they're proud too, and they think that it's like a power move, going against the establishment by shitting on the States. Like, no, man, everyone in Canada shits on the States. It's the status quo. Get an original thought, man. And everything that happened in the States is going to happen here, in 20 years, the fucking latest. It's always been like that. But that's what it is when you try to emulate everything that another country does. And, it's a state of emergency. It is a state of emergency. And the state of emergency allows a state to seize assets. It allows a state to relocate you if it so chooses to. And it can force you to stop working, as it has done. It can close your business, as it has done. It can also fine you if you go against any of these regulations, up to $5,000, or at the moment, I think it's like 6 months in jail. That's like for just working when you're not supposed to work. And, people say all that stuff is just coincidental. It's not a coincidence. And even if it is, does it matter? It's all fucking happening. So as far as Agenda 21 is concerned, the plan to take your rights away, which is what it is. Only an idiot would fall for this plan and say, well, the government's going to take care of everything. Well, yeah, it's just like a fucking farmer. Farmer gives cattle shelter and irrigation. And, like, great. You have a roof over your head, and you have food, and you have a place to shit. What else is there? I'd rather live by myself. I'd rather have the opportunity to be wrong, but be free, and to get hurt, but be free, than to have the illusion that everything's going to be taken care of for me. Because the road to tyranny always starts with the illusion of security. Right? Because there's no such thing as security. Life is a series of risks. The less you risk, less you fucking get. And the more you risk, you're not guaranteed to get anything. So you have to really fucking think and consider. And, I like this. I embrace this part of life. I love this part of life. It makes life worth living. Makes my job fun. Makes me able to do my job. Makes me able to get paid for something I love to do. And anyone can. And yeah, Steve says Trudeau has his own plan for Canada. Canadians aren't part of it. Yeah, you got that right, man. And I think that it's also sad that people think that the solution is going to just be more government. The government's going to fix this. They're going to clean up their... No, they're not, man. They're not going to fix this. Like, now, Mark and I, like, we made a little joke a couple of days ago, or a couple of weeks ago, actually. And we thought we were going to, except we'd probably go to jail if we fucking put this up, but I don't think so. Now I think more people are going to be doing shit like this, but we were going to put like a joke ad saying that, did you know that because, our business is like slowed down. So we were going to say that coronavirus could infect trees, and only a skilled fucking arborist trained in coronavirus detection could like identify your diseased branches. So like a couple of jippos that like, knock on your door and carry roofing tiles with them everywhere they go in their pocket, and they knock on your door and they're like, here, your roof is falling apart. You need me and fucking Radovan to go hammer that shit back in place. That's $1,000 cash up front, please. So Mark and I joked about that. We joked about, convincing people that their trees were infected with coronavirus, unless us, knew how to identify the branches. And no, you can't just get any arborist. You have to get us. And, we would never do that, because we actually provide like a service, and, it's a lot broader than that. But the sad reality is that 95% of the businesses in existence revolve around that very fucking principle, around getting something for absolutely nothing. And it has to end. It has to end. It can't not end, fuck. And, you know, uh, like I was saying before, the only ones to profit and leave this unscathed will be the people who are the worst prepared out of everyone. Government employees, baby boomers, people who took the easy way, and they're going to be quick to say, I told you so. And because they want to, and it's fucked up because they want to eliminate, it's actually a genius move to shut down the fucking small and medium businesses because this is the best and quickest way to eliminate the productive and the smart members of society who the government will deem hard to control. So basically, any black market entrepreneur. Yeah, like, and this is, this will be my I told you so, but because I've heard it so much, and I heard it from blue pill simps everywhere. I heard it from a girl I used to bang all the time. Uh, Not that I used to bang her all the time, but I used to hear it from her all the time. But I worked at a lot of places that shut down, and many of them shut down after I left. And I left because I didn't like the way things were going at those places. And I felt like a lot of people weren't doing work, and very few people had to fucking pick up after everybody. And I refuse to accept that this is life. I refuse to accept that this is all that this world has in store for me. And, you should refuse to accept it too. However, most people that I would, confide in about this, because it's not an easy thing, man. It's not an easy thing to work your ass off every fucking day and you watch people fucking slacking off and dumping work onto your lap and you get rewarded with more fucking work and then you go to bed miserable and you're not getting paid more than anybody else. And that's just the way you are. You want to work, but you want others to work. And like you end up keeping your mouth shut and hating yourself or fighting every day and arguing with people. And I would fight every day. I'd fight every day. You have to pick your battles. Yeah. Everything's a battle. If someone's wrong, it's a fucking battle. So I would go to work every day and fight. And I wasn't getting paid to fight, but I would fucking fight. So, you know, um, I don't even remember what I was gonna say. Yeah. So doing the fucking brunt of the work, most people do not do most of the work, man. Most people are the ones dumping the work onto your lap. Most of your friends too, unless they're people that you met doing the exact same situation as you. But most people, if they're like your childhood friends, your drinking buddies or whatever, these are the type of guys that would dump the work into your lap. They're not guys like you. So these guys will tell you that, that's just life and people complain and it's normal and you just have to take it on the chin. And like, fuck you. I refuse. And, in Atlas Shrugged, there's a company called the 20th Century Motor Company. And they make cars and they have 6,000 employees. And they have a really good boss. Really good boss. People love fucking working there. It's great. Just a great fucking company. And then the boss dies of old age and he hands the company over to his 3 kids. And the kids didn't start the company. The kids didn't have any interest in the company. And the kids ran the company into the ground. Now, they were grown ass adults at the time. And they all ran it into the ground for different reasons because they had their own visions. And how I always say, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Learn how to use it first. And people will watch a video or like read a book about how something is done, like how to cut a tree down. And they're like, oh, if only there were a way to do it without using a chainsaw and having to climb a tree, then I'd like make it rich. And they think of some fucking Rube Goldberg machine that takes like, 100 times like the amount of time that it would take to do it normally just to avoid doing it. And they try to fucking split the atom, reinventing the wheel. And it's like, dude, you don't need to think of another way. Just use a chainsaw, climb it. You'll make money. It's fine. You can improve upon the process once you learn the process. And just because like someone, let's say, is struggling, like doing something, it doesn't mean that they're doing it the wrong way. There's a learning curve for everything. It takes like approximately 10,000 hours to become world-class fucking skilled at anything. So like buckle up, man. You could be good right away, but do your fucking diligence. You'll be even better. And it's really fucked up because one of the conversations I used to have about all the places that I worked at, they would close down, and they'd close down because all the good people would leave. Now, this thing that I'm talking about from Atlas Shrugged, the 20th Century Motor Company, they were a great company. And then when the fucking boss died and he handed it over to his kids, you could use scaffolding if you want, but if you want to drag the scaffolding around with you everywhere, yeah, sure. Just make sure you don't drop the lugs in the scaffolding. It'll bounce you around, but you could. Probably be better than a ladder. But it's not bad with a rope either. And a rope is cheaper than scaffolding. You could make a harness out of a rope too, even if you don't have a harness. And like I have a fucking mountain climbing book from the 50s, and there's like a guy in the cover. He's got a rope tied under his armpits with a carabiner to the front. And then he's got 2 foot loops. He has two knots on his feet and 1 knot on his chest, and he just climbs up the rope up a mountain. That's how they climb then. And yeah, that would cost you about $50 for a setup like that. Ladder is even $250, and it's not good to work on a ladder. You can use it to get over a thorn bush or something, but or if you have, anyway, whatever. Yeah, I mean, you could, but like the wheel's good, man. Oh boy, I fucking hate that. Steve Thompson worked at a place where the boss's son came to work late and then went on break till lunch. I shook my head when the boss told me I'd have to take a pay cut because the company was not profitable. Been there, done that, man. And this is really interesting because this company that like I was talking about, this fictional company, what they did, they decided to flatten the fucking wage scale. And because the kids didn't know shit, right? And they thought, wouldn't it be nice if everyone got the same pay? And they decided to give everyone the same fucking pay. And the same pay was fucking garbage. It was garbage. It was barely enough to fucking pay rent and to get food. You couldn't buy anything extra. And if you wanted anything extra, it was considered a want. And you had to write down your case for why you felt you needed this gratuity. It could be anything. It could be a motorboat. It could be a new carpet for your living room. It could be a record to listen to. It could be anything. And so everyone would plead down their fucking wants, and they would be heard out in front of the entire company, and the entire company would fucking vote on whether or not the people deserve to get their fucking gratuities. And, obviously what happened is that, everyone got jealous of everyone else. And, if one guy got denied something, then everyone would want to, then everyone's rooting for everyone to get denied. And it's really fucked up because a lot of the people that were single, they got denied all the time. And a lot of people with kids, no matter what they wanted, no matter what brats their kids were, they would get whatever they fucking wanted because they had kids. Or if people were sick, or if people claimed to not be able to work. Does this sound familiar, guys? Does this sound familiar? So basically, the only 2 things that people that would pretty much guarantee people voting yes for were kids or a fucking handicap. And that's the birth of fucking affirmative action, basically. It's kids or a fucking handicap. Like, that's it. I can't work, so I deserve more. And, one of the characters, he very clearly outlines that, charity, the definition of charity is when you give something to someone who hasn't earned it. And the opposite of charity is justice. That's it. That's it. And you're under no obligation. And a lot of these tropes that we're told all the time that, you have to have empathy for other people. Like, no, that will get you killed. And Steve Thompson, I left that night and called in quits the next morning. Good for you, man. Good for you. And like I mentioned, this company that flattened the wage scale, I worked at a place exactly like this that shut down. And it was a warehouse, and they had several different job descriptions, but it was all for the same pay. And there were easier jobs and there were harder jobs. And there was supposed to be a rotation between jobs. And there was no rotation. And the stronger males, like me, believe it or not, I was one of the stronger ones, but we would be pickers, which means we would move boxes manually. The weaker males, they would move boxes via forklift, and they'd load and unload. And the women would work in the office. and all for the same pay, and the jobs would never fucking rotate. So after a few months, I was like, yo, what the fuck is this, man? Like, we're all getting the same pay. This is not fair. There has to be some sort of rotation. And idiots that I worked with that actually bought into it, and they're like, what? No, I actually like doing the heavy work. I wouldn't work in an office. It's like, yo, fuck that, man. They're getting the same as me. I work in a refrigerated office 10 hours a fucking day with practically no fucking break at lunch. Again, it's fucking refrigerated, 0 degrees. Sorry, a refrigerated warehouse. I have to lift 50-pound boxes for 10 hours. No, I would much rather be in the office scrolling through Facebook and Tinder and whatever for $20 an hour. Hell yeah. Yeah, I can exercise on my own time. Fuck you, man. Yeah, I want that shit. Like, I rotate. And no, they didn't fucking rotate. And it all became about keeping everyone quiet and happy and satisfied. And guess what? This place fucking shut down. It shut down because all the fucking good people left. All the people that were tired of doing everyone's work. And that's what I used to do. I used to show up an hour early because there are people at night that had to do certain things. But a lot of the time they would get busy and they wouldn't stay late because they didn't fucking feel like it. Because why should they? And if they left things in disarray, the whole day would start over fucked up. So I'd show up early, make sure everything was okay, because that way me and my crew could finish on time or early. And I would stay late to make sure everything was okay for the people after. And a lot of the time I didn't get paid for this, man. I didn't even punch my card because it was a big fucking production. You had to get the boss's approval. And the boss wasn't even there yet. So I'll just show up and check everything and make sure everything was good. And then right before the shift, when everyone else started, I punch my card and I start. And it's like, yeah, okay, fine. Short term, it was stupid because I didn't get paid, but I didn't care, man, because I knew like this is what needs to be done, and this is like, man, this is what the fucking boss should be doing. But he never did it, so fuck you. And you know what? When all the other people like me leave, the company fucking closes down, and they all close down, and they all close and close and close and close. And this bitch I was banging a while ago, she kept telling me that you know, I'm I must be doing something wrong because that would never happen to her, and her company would never close down. A, because she wasn't even college educated, as if that fucking mattered. A, because I really liked her, and B, because I don't know. It was some other fucking stupid. Oh, that it was a big company. It was a big company that couldn't possibly shut down. And I work for Rinky Dink. It's like, no, man, I work for a fucking Walmart. Fucking Walmart's warehouse fucking shut down. Fuck. Like, anything can fucking happen. So, yeah. And, you know, this, like, my I told you so is that it can happen to you. So it happens. A lot of entrepreneurs know this too, especially the older entrepreneurs that got into the game late. They got into the game because they did the same job for 20 or 30 years and they put all their eggs in one basket and they thought that nothing could go wrong. It's not their fault for thinking that. But now, if you believe that, you're a fucking idiot. You know, you have to go through like a couple of jobs to learn that they're all pretty similar and none of them really give a shit about you. It's like any form of government. You know, personally, I want the one that's going to leave me alone the most, but I know that none of them has my fucking best interests in mind. And that, like, you shouldn't fucking listen to anyone that tells you that they want what's best for you. They don't fucking have any fucking idea what's best for you. You know, even your parents, you know, they might want what they think is best for you, but only you know. Only you know. That's it. So it's a very fucking hard thing to prove, you know, when someone tells you they want what's best for you. And that includes the government. Even if the government were not malicious, still, just the notion of someone else fucking looking after me, I won't fucking have it. How could that fucking work? And it's not going to fucking bail people out of this. And I think it's fucking sad too, because the bankers are going to fucking get paid regardless too. And like, they're the fucking worst ones. And as far as a bailout is concerned, even the bailout to give everyone fucking $1,200 for 3 months of lost business or special loans from world banks, like, it's garbage. Fuck. And let's say this fucking happens. Like, the Fed is either going to print more money or they're going to borrow money from China to fucking give to the fucking people that it forbade from working because of the China virus. Like, how fucking idiotic is that? And, you know, it's funny because I think I used to always talk to Mark about if you guys saw the fucking Avengers movie, where the bad guy wants to end half the fucking population and he has some arbitrary way of just like magically randomly killing half. Well, that's not the fucking most humane way to do it. The most humane way to do it is just to fucking dissolve the government. End government benefits. End government benefits. And then everyone who's on benefits who wouldn't fucking want to fucking, yeah, exactly. Exactly, DL. Yeah, anyone who fucking isn't willing to fucking survive, they can fucking drop dead. That's a real fucking way. And you're gonna get a really nice fucking world after. Nobody said it'd be a fucking soft transition. And that's what um that's what I want to stress now. Like a lot of people think that things are closed now, but it's gonna start up again. And that's it. And okay, you're an idiot entrepreneur, or you wanted to play at being an entrepreneur, so you're stupid. You're not smart like me. I worked for the same place for 5 years. I kissed the boss's ass. I'm good. They can't ever fire me. It's like, no, man, you're fucking expendable. And all you guys that jumped ship because you saw the ship was sinking and you decided to learn to swim, and with dreams of building your own ship, like keep fucking treading water, man. Keep treading water. You're better off than on a sinking ship. The ship is gonna fucking sink. And people are stupid, man. People are still lining their pockets like with what they think is fucking valuable. They don't know it's just gonna fucking weigh them down. It's fucking crazy. And like banks too, like banks are non-essential right now. The ATMs should be open, sure, but like there's no need for that. And they're gonna fucking profit fucking hugely off of this. They're trying to. And if I had a bank account, I would take all my money out of it right now. I would take all of it out right now. That's what needs to happen. And look, if one guy does it, good for him. Then you have all your money because it's going to be fucking worthless fucking really soon. If you can convert it to gold or silver, I would say that's the best thing. No, I don't have any money to convert to gold or silver, but if I did, I probably would. Mind you, I keep saying I provide a service. I'm confident in the service that I provide. So as long as I'm able to provide my service, I can barter my service for other goods and services that I need. I'm not really worried about the currency right now. I'm not really worried about, liquidating my assets into some form of currency that I can sock away and use to spend on other shit. My own skill set is my bartering chips, right? If that makes sense. But that's what I would do. And the bank was usually required to only have 10% of all total holdings on hand. So, let's say everyone in the bank, their money totals like $1 million. The bank is required to have $100,000 lying around, to cover that much. But now it's down to 5%. And again, the bank is never equipped for everyone to withdraw their money. So that's what people need to do, especially now. And it kind of, I think if that happened, they would print more, but it needs to happen because if you leave it in there, it's going to inflate when this thing goes over. Well, when this thing blows over, when they start the bailout program and they flood the economy with worthless currency because there's no work, goods, or services being produced to back the currency, then you're going to see that the value of the fucking dollar is going to crash. I mean, the economy is at a standstill right now, but it hasn't fully fucking collapsed yet. The bubble, like Peter Schiff said, he said coronavirus is the pin. And, the Fed's bubble is the actual bubble. And he said it's an unfortunate pin. It's probably the worst fucking pin, but it's probably the most effective pin at popping this fucking fiat currency economy. And, another group of people that are worried are boomers. And they're worried that their pensions might slightly decrease or they might accrue slightly smaller interest in their GICs. As if that matters to the fucking starving millennial with no money or shelter or the prospect of no roof over their heads, because most of us will be renting until we die. That's the sad reality of it. And the meme goes, between the boomer and the millennial fighting, and the boomer says, millennial, you didn't learn any skills. It's like, why bother, so I can fix my landlord's fucking apartment for free. Like, I'll be renting till I die, and it's fucked up because, like, they're culling of the herd, like what they're doing now versus mine. Look, my utopia basically has a free market and limited or no government. And yo, DL, you could have a van in a remote acre for sure. If what baffles me also is that, talking about Agenda 21, there's something called Event 201. And you can watch videos of it on YouTube. And basically, a little while back, they did a simulation. A bunch of government leaders and cronies and banksters got together and decided to simulate a global pandemic to see how the world would respond, to see if they were prepared to handle such a pandemic. And the pandemic, the disease that they simulated, was actually a coronavirus. And the results of this simulation were that the world leaders were not ready to handle such a thing. And, their largest concern was how to merge the government with private businesses. And, that's worse than socialism. That's the definition of fucking fascism right there. And their plan basically was how to regulate everything. And the only medication they had, it wasn't an antivirus. It wasn't a vaccination. It was an antivirus, which doesn't prevent the disease. You still go through it, but it just lessens the symptoms a little bit. But it was fucking AIDS medication. No, not AIDS medication, HIV medication. And it makes sense, I guess, because this has, they grafted on the HIV delivery system, but it wasn't made in a lab. And, it's racist to think it came from China. So, it's really fucked up because, they did this experiment and they realized that they were grossly unprepared and unqualified. And this would fucking decimate everything. And shortly after, because this isn't that long, this was in fucking September 2019. So, like, arguably, like, minutes before or during or even after, who knows? We don't know because they won't fucking tell us anything. So, right when, these world leaders decided that they were unprepared for such an event to happen, said event actually happens. Said event with the same disease. And let me see here. I'm going to find the link. I'm going to put it in the chat. And I will show you the first start at the beginning. Now I'm just embedding this quickly, but I'm going to put it in the chat here. And that's the first video. And you can check the playlist and check that out later. And it's fucked up, man. It's fucked up because they just released it right after. Or it happened purely coincidentally, right when they decided that. And it's clear to see that they couldn't fucking handle it. And it's fucked because they didn't have any of the people whose opinions actually fucking mattered. It's all people that are in their ivory towers with their heads so far up their asses. And the sad thing is that, I just think about this shit as it comes. And as I see it and I react to it, and then I see that a lot of the people that I really respect and I follow, they're saying the same things, like Patrick Bet David or fucking David Icke, or excuse me, again, the channel I just discovered this morning, the Atlantis Report. This guy's fucking on point about everything, fuck. And it's nothing new. Even a lot of what Molyneux says, it's fucking, man, he's right. I don't know if you guys have been tuning into his streams lately, but he's been posting a lot lately about this stuff. And anyway, I don't trust everything he says, but I would sooner watch him than the fucking mainstream media any fucking day. The mainstream media are fucking wrong about like everything these days. So I keep saying the worst part, but the way that they're trying to fucking cull the herd here is that they're getting rid of anyone that could possibly fucking help. Free market industry is the only thing that like should matter right now. Government overreach, it doesn't work. Fiat currency doesn't work. Federal Reserve, it doesn't work. Even government employment, it doesn't work. The government is way too big. It's way too big to be able to sustain itself. Printing more money is not the answer. More loans is not the answer. More debt is not the answer. That's what they did after 2008, and it got things to this fucking point. And this shit right now, it would have happened, coronavirus or not. But now with coronavirus, it has to fucking happen. And I do believe that this is a huge fucking push for cashless currency, which is banned here, but which cash, by the way, is pretty much banned here for the time being. So it's a push towards cashless currency and B towards one world government. How can it not be? It's already martial law, state of emergency. So again, what can you do? I know everyone pretty much is going to accept the fucking bailout. That's the worst thing you can fucking do. It's not going to be worth anything. Like when you get it, prices are going to raise on everything so fucking high, you're not going to be able to buy anything. Now, if I'm wrong, great. Everyone's going to get like $1,200 and you can buy, everyone's going to buy like a new TV or something. And there's your pat on the back for going 3 months without work, and then everything is right. But like, I'm fucking worried because right now, I think April, there's a ban now. Further notice is April 13th. So no one's pretty much allowed to do anything until then. And they're going to tell us that businesses either pick up or stop until further notice again. And again, man, people are going to have to fucking recuperate. And people are going to have made less money. So they're not going to be so quick to spend with me. So I'm trying to stay ahead, or at least not fall too far behind. And everything I figure out, I will be sharing with you guys. I'll be uploading a lot. Not so many live streams. This one is an exception because I had a lot to fucking put out. And I thought it was going to be too much, but again, Peter shifted a fucking 4.5 hour live stream the other day. And I could easily go 4 hours. I'm not going to tonight. My back hurts. I have other stuff I want to do that I should be doing. It'd be irresponsible for me if I stayed on too long. But I had to say all this shit, man. I had to say it because it's not. Anyway. It needed to be said. And it's sad because, the way the herd gets culled now, it's like all our fucking resources now are being put towards, the old, the sick, and people who work for the government. Like, sorry, man, like the older sick, I have sympathy for you, but you're the least likely to survive. That's how it is. And, if you know a little bit about the survivorship bias, like, yes, it's nice to save everybody, but you have to concentrate on those most likely to survive. Like, I'm sorry, but old people, they're not the ones who are going to rebuild the economy. They're not the ones who have been building the economy for the past 10 years. They're just profiting from it. I don't wish ill upon any of them except for the ones that wish ill on me. But like, really, that's not the fucking priority. The priority is the people who are actually going to rebuild, not the bureaucrats. And it's not going to happen through fucking government overreach. It's not going to happen with any amount of bailouts. How could it? Like, how could it? And if you're not allowed to do anything, like you're not allowed to work, you're not allowed to provide, you're not allowed to fucking provide a good or service or anything like that, but you have an abundance of money. Like, what do you need the money for? What's the money even for? This is on a very fucking basic level. I'm trying to fucking like explain this, It's useless. It's useless. You can't buy anything with it. It's gonna be fucking worthless. What do you even need it for? Things should be free. There's no things. Like, you might as well have no money. Like, it doesn't make a difference. Fuck. And it's like, yo, I'll trade you the sock for that candle. Like, when it comes to that, fuck. Like, what do you need money for? And like, all I'm saying, if you're in a situation kind of like mine, and you're prevented from working. See, like, I'm worried because I don't work for someone. And this is all in my hands, and it's up to me to like figure out a way to convince my customers that I can work. We also just built our website. Well, we built it in the summer, but we just got it up a few months ago. And then we got our business on Google around a month ago. And I've been using that to get out of my low level of customers that I've been getting on Kijiji or Virage Sale, or like that's like Craigslist type shit. So I want to step up into the big leagues, and I have a nice website with videos, and I have my Google so that when people fucking Google me or they Google tree service, I show up and there's nice pictures and everything like that. And Google suggests now that you make changes, and you can make posts to tell your customers if you're working or not. But unless you're a huge, heavily recognized corporation, Google is limiting your tools and the functionality of Google My Business. And whenever you try to make posts now, they get rejected. So you're not even allowed to tell customers that you're working. So success for work is based on two things. It's about actual skill and advertising. Work like hell and advertise the shit out of yourself. That's it. Like, one without the other is not enough. It's a losing formula. And two, like, you'll be good, but now you can barely do either. And I disagree with something that Molyneux said. Someone asked him if they thought there was going to be a blackout, like if the internet was going to black out. He said, no, of course not. Of course not. Yeah, just fucking watch, man. Just fucking watch. Like Mark said, it's not going to be a blackout, but if they want to censor you, they'll fucking censor you. Look what they're doing in China. It's so easy. And like, Molyneux's kind of smug too, because he survives off of fucking donations. But watch when they fucking cut off his fucking PayPal, or if it shuts down, if the world moves to digital currency because they in fact convince people that cash is too dirty, then you just fucking wait, man. It's the fucking beginning of the end. It's the end of freedom. Like, you have to resist this. I'm going to resist it. Like, we have to resist the fucking cashless currency. And I think that, if you guys are here, the 4 people here right now, I appreciate you guys. But just like those fucking morons, those moron fucking world leaders are getting together and figuring out how to fucking destroy the world and profit from it. Like, we're going to have to fucking get together like we're doing now and figure out how to save our version of the world and salvage a part that we can still live in. And because I'm telling you guys, the answer is not to give the government all the power, or to give a better government all the power, to give a different government all the power, to trust a different government. The answer is within you. And this is tough because this is a problem that none of us has ever faced before. And what worries me, another thing that worries me, is that, the cure right now is already way worse than the disease. So, I mean, what do we hope the disease catches up to, the danger of the cure? No, like I don't know what's going to happen. I'm kind of hoping that, in 2 weeks or a month, whenever the first, well, it's in phase 2, I'd say, of the lockdown, because it's already been extended once. First, it was 2 weeks, and then it's a little over a month now. It's going to be a month and a half total, but they're going to keep extending it. And yeah, the government has become dangerous and out of control. And Trudeau only wants a spot on the fucking UN or fucking whatever. It's not good enough. that like he never like had an actual job in his life, and now he has a golden parachute for his retirement, and he fucked up the entire country. And he grew up fucking rich. He never wanted for anything. Yeah, wait till it gets warm. Yeah, shit is gonna fucking spread worse. Fuck. It's not gonna get better before it gets worse. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. And anyone ignoring this, like they have their fucking head up their ass. And if I were you, I would avoid people like this. So yeah, like all I can say, I don't know, man. I don't know. I look, man, I was hoping I put an ad for this up today in the morning and I had an issue and I deleted it and then I put another ad for a live stream. But I'm disappointed in my subscribers. You know, not you guys that are here, but you know, like people. I think people came here. They're expecting like drama marketing or something like that. No, man, I'm here to try to find a fucking way and to put my head together with you guys and to see like what everyone's doing. You know, and what we can do. You know, and like you guys here, man, I appreciate you being here. Like I appreciate you trying to be as constructive as possible. I know it's not easy, but like DL, yeah, how the fuck are we gonna function if this shit lasts longer than next month? How? Yeah, we're gonna print me more money. Like, how does that fucking help? How does that help? You know, like this is very fucking real. So on the plus side, like we do have time to think about this shit, and you know, I would recommend, you know, still trying to maintain some sort of balance, i.e., don't go crazy hunching over your computer for 15 hours a day. You know, take breaks, exercise. I would say the last thing that you want to happen is to actually get physically incapacitated by this fucking disease. So make sure that your immune system is as healthy as you can get it. You know, try to eat properly, exercise every day. Exercise every day, guys, every day. Doesn't matter. Do whatever you can. Prison style workouts. All this stuff strengthens your immune system. It's the best advantage you can give yourself. I know it's not perfect, but it's all you can do. So your body is your vessel. And you should I keep licking my lips and then touching the fucking mic. It's too close. But yeah, that's what's going on there. But yeah, and your vessel is what you need, you know, to experience the life that you want to live. So you tailor it to the journeys that you want to take with it. But this shit fucking matters. And it'd be really fucking shitty to get incapacitated by either the disease or the economic fucking shutdown. But if you are incapacitated by the economic shutdown, you're not alone. 2/3 of people are like this. And the people that you talk to that are still working, a lot of them are going to have no pity for you. They're going to say, haha, I'm essential. You're not. It's like, dude, you're not essential. Big brother just has his finger up your fucking asshole. Fuck. Like everyone I know that's still working is like that. Everyone I fucking know, and everyone I know that's still working is a fucking huge fucking simp. Other than Mark. Mark is actually fucking forced to work right now. Mark works at a corner store part time because we can't support us both, and he's deemed an essential service, but he's not getting overtime, and he's like smack dab in the middle of the fucking epidemic. He works night shift and he has to deal with all this filthy shit. Fuck. And I told him, I'm like, yo, if you don't want to go there anymore, just don't go. And we're not going to go. That's it. Yeah, the zombies are the followers of the government that can't think or do for themselves and wait for others to get the job done. Yep, 100%. 100%. And yeah, this will not blow over. Like if you want to fucking come out of this better than you are right now, and chances are you're not doing well right now. You know, chances are you're laid off from work, or you don't even have a job on the books to lay you off from. You know, you work for yourself, and like you have to sell product or cut grass or make things happen, and you can't. You're prohibited from doing these things. Then you're gonna have to find a way you're going to have to find a way to make things right, because it's not going to be done for you. The government is not going to do it for you. Your neighbors are not going to help you. And people, it has started, Steve. The zombie apocalypse has started a long fucking time ago. I don't even like that people still say, oh, if it ever happened, it's happening now. It's fucking happening now, man. The economy is fucking crashed, man. It's shut down. Shut down. People can't work. This is unprecedented. Unprecedented for a disease that we know so little about. Other than China. So it's unprecedented. It's fucking terrible. But the again, most government workers or blue-pilled fucking wage slaves that really don't like what they're doing, don't even fucking know what they're doing. They're just happy someone's going to give them a job. And they're happy now that they get to get laid off with pay. While other people that are fucking, struggling, trying to figure this shit out. Man, I got when I made small talk with people I knew lately, and they're like, "Oh, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Oh, not great. I'm trying to figure out ways to fucking work through what's happening right now and how I'm gonna bounce back." And they're like, "Oh, you're crazy. You and your right-wing conspiracy theories." It's like, what the fuck? It's like whatever. Don't say I didn't fucking try to help, but I've progressed past trying to change the world. I'll leave them to the world that they fucking built. All I care about now is finding my own little fucking piece. And like DL said before, if you had a fucking acre of land in a van or a remote acre, yeah, man, dude, I know. Imagine having 10 acres. Imagine having 100 acres. Imagine having 500 acres of land between 5 to 10 individuals, as a start. And each individual had his own little section, nicely distanced away. And there was a well and there was other shit, the little fucking hunting ground. All this shit is totally fucking possible, man. It's possible. It's real. You just have to fucking take it. And I'm fucking serious, man. If more people, we don't need more people. Mark and I are going as soon as we can. Dude, we found 40 acres for $15,000 several times. And it's perfect. And we can find stuff like that. You can find nice acreage for $500 to $1,000 an acre. And I'm talking nice, okay, not on the West Coast, but Yellowstone Park type shit, nice, where you fucking howl at night and the wolves fucking howl back. And you can buy land with water on it. So that's everything. And you can hunt on the land and you can fell trees and you can build on the land. You can do whatever the fuck you want, man. And you build the road to your own house. And if you don't want people to go there, then don't build a road. That's what one of the real estate agents told me. Can you believe that shit? That's how awesome is that? So imagine a property like that. Imagine 10 people, pulling cash together, $2,000, $4,000 each. Imagine what you could get. Or if 10 people didn't all have the same amount, imagine one person has a little bit more money and he buys the land, and then, the other people can fucking rent it off him with the option to own or whatever. Possibilities are limitless. They're fucking limitless. And if more people thought like this, you know how much you could get with $4,000, put to fucking proper use, that you could never buy shit with in the fucking blue-pilled world. You could never buy shit, man. The houses here, man, they're garbage, man. And they're fucking $350,000 to start for the shittiest one. And what, you have to come up with fucking 10% fucking down payment on a house that you don't want in an area that you don't want to live in, and that's going to be your excuse to stay there for the rest of your life because you invested so much. And what's next? You're going to fill it with furniture that you don't need for guests that you don't want to have over, and you can't leave because you spent so much on this couch and this sectional and this matching TV and this fucking everything. Like, no, it's like in Heat, man. Don't have anything in your life that you're not prepared to walk away from in 30 seconds. Or, like that isn't prepared to come with you. Like you see my dog on my bed. Hey, Oliver. But he goes where I go. He goes everywhere. He even has a scar, just like me, because he had an operation in the summer. And that poor little guy. So, knock on wood, he's going to be okay. But yeah, he's a fucking trooper too. So yeah, all it takes to be one of us is to fucking live through a fucking near-death experience. So yeah, but yeah, this worries me. This whole situation worries me. Oh, you would buy a house in a major? Oh, you wouldn't buy a house in a major city? Yeah, good. Yeah, neither would I. And I agree, Steve. They are making slaves out of all of us. It's already happened. Well, the one thing I would say, I would suggest, withdrawing your money now. And even if you have a couple of paychecks left, I would suggest getting all your money out of the bank and not converting it to gold just yet, because you can't buy what you need out of gold at the grocery stores yet. Even Bitcoin, unfortunately, most places won't accept Bitcoin. So, it's an idea, but it didn't exactly go the way people thought it was going to go either. And that's the sad reality of it. The sad reality is that most places aren't equipped to accept Bitcoin payments. Some places will, but many don't. And, like you could probably get by exclusively on it, but how much do you like Bitcoin? How much have you invested? If you've invested a lot, then you're going to want to fucking make your transactions in Bitcoin if you can. But, someone that has like $1,000 left and they're wondering, how to make it last the longest, like I wouldn't suggest that person to convert that into Bitcoin. I wouldn't even suggest to that person to convert it into gold. I would say try to convert it into slightly more money for the fucking short term and then buy what you can with that money. And I don't mean like TVs and shit like that, but I mean buy something that is going to be useful for you, i.e., not entertainment related, like a tool that you can use to do work, that you can use to either make money or trade for something that you need. Because, dudes, it's going to fucking come to that very soon. Soon? They stupid. It's easy as fuck. So, yeah, soon, man. Like, we were even thinking of doing it now, like preemptively, but it's going to be smart. Let's say you have an ad online for your company or whatever, with the value of the dollar like all over the place down, and they're gonna fucking hyperinflate it after, or people fucking trying to ban the fucking spending of cash. I would boycott any place that doesn't accept cash. Fuck you. And a lot of people too, they're not going to withdraw their cash knowing that this is what has to happen to crash the banks. They're not going to withdraw their cash because they think it's easier to use debit everywhere. And like they don't want to be, that fucking uncool guy or girl that has to reach into their wallet and get cash. It's like, yo, there's no shame in it. I work for a living. I have money to show for it. So we're almost to the point where we're going to put on our ad that we're willing to fucking do jobs for stuff. I got to word it properly, but yeah, man, like cash is going to be fucking worthless really soon. Really fucking soon. So what else you got? I need a new truck. Oh, I want a new truck. I want another truck. I want a fucking dual axle truck with a dumping bed and back. So I got to work my way towards that. So you have no money? All right. Well, that's what I need. So you're going to help me get that. So if you don't have a vehicle, you got a couple of fucking TVs and some other shit. Well, interesting fucking trades consider. Yeah, I would work for gold or silver. And luckily, like in my industry, I can cut down a tree that I can spend maybe, let's say 2 or 3 hours on, and I can rake in $1,000. And if the customer doesn't have money to pay, yeah, then they're going to pay with over $1,000 worth of fucking merchandise. So yeah, that's it. I agree, man. Yeah, DL, work for gold and silver, and sell the gold and silver for cash, buy whatever you want. Yep. You could work for fucking, people have that shit on hand. You even work for fucking jewelry. Bitcoin, yeah, I haven't gotten into it, but like, I think it's sad what happened with Bitcoin. Like, I'm not an expert again because I never bought one, but it's fucking too expensive now. Well, not now. It was always too expensive for me. And I think the idea of it was good. It was supposed to be a new currency, and it was supposed to do what money had failed to do. But what ended up happening to Bitcoin was pretty much just what happened with money. And it got fucking inflated the fuck up. And I don't know really what's going on with it right now. But like I said, I'm not an expert. Like, I know very little about it. It's far out of my element. But if you own fucking Bitcoin right now, like, well, that's the thing, man. Like, I was gonna say, if you own Bitcoin right now, like, you're okay. You have like some liquidity, stands to reason, because it's not fucking cheap. But yeah, it is. And see, people don't understand. Like, there's supposed to be a finite amount of money, and you're not supposed to measure your wealth in terms of money. Money is fucking meaningless. See, imagine there are $1,000 in circulation in your little fucking gated community of like 5 people. And your community has resources in it. It's in nature and stuff like that. And there's water and there's stuff. But there's just $1,000 to go around. And, even if one guy holds on to this $1,000 at first, like, every time he needs something, he has to offer part of it to someone else to perform the fucking task. And like, the more things that he needs, the more money he's going to fucking offer away. But it doesn't mean he's never going to get it back. Because when these people need stuff, they pay with money also. And the money keeps fucking circulating. And the guy who's truly rich is a guy who manages to build everything smartly, inexpensively, and he keeps recirculating the money. And then at the end, after he's built everything, he set himself up enough that he can still have some money left, and he doesn't need to recirculate so much. That's the only thing. But the sign of his wealth is the house he built, with a well in back, with like his family and all the stuff that he has. Like, the money is just what got him there. I don't agree. Yeah, money's been called the root of all evil. I don't think it's the root of all evil. I think it's man that fucking corrupted it. And not all men. I think it's great. I think it's a great fucking tool, to do exactly what I said. But what I just said is so fucking foreign to most people. They're like, no, this guy's a fucking idiot. No wonder he's not working right now. Money, being rich means having a pile of money and having a lot of credit. It's like, no, that doesn't mean anything. That's nothing. It's the only real way to measure it is in assets. And gold, like, more specifically gold and silver, I believe, but gold is actually a finite asset. Like, silver, I believe, can be manufactured, but it's still very valuable. But gold is actually finite. Like, the gold is created through dust that's a residue of a supernova when it explodes, and whatever makes it here to Earth that's embedded in the ground, like, we can turn that into gold. So there's not that much. So that's the beauty of it. It circulates. And yeah, if you hold on to it, like, you have a lot of gold. But unless you're fucking using it for stuff, essentially, it's not doing you any fucking favors. So people think that, like, it's like, yeah, I had $2,000 in savings, and now I can't work, so my savings are going down. But the government's going to bail me out, and they're going to bail everyone out. I'm going to get my $2,000 back, and then I'll have maybe even get $3,000. I'll have even more in savings, and I'll be rich. It's like, no, man. Like, you're not rich if you can't fucking work and if you don't have anything. And if you're starving and you have all the fucking paper in the world, you can't fucking eat it. It's not going to fucking nourish you. And look, guys, pretty much I'm at the bottom of my list, and I feel that I'm fucking repeating a lot of the points that I don't want to repeat, but I got my message out there. So I've been going just over 2 hours right now, and I got to thank all you guys for passing by, but I'm going to fucking end the broadcast right now, and I'm going to plan my day tomorrow, and I'm going to probably make a couple of, I'm still going to upload, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do about the situation here. I don't know how my business is going to keep going. I don't know if it's how it's going to bounce back. I don't know how you guys are going to do all that shit, but I will keep you guys in the know. And every step I take, I'll let you guys know what I'm doing and if it works or not, what the results were. And I want to know the same thing from you guys. So, yeah, you guys are my people. So we look out for each other because, you're pretty much the only fucking friends I have. And if anyone fucking helps me, it's going to be you guys. And, until next time, thanks a lot for fucking passing by. All the new subscribers, yeah, welcome aboard. And yeah, sorry, I wish I had some happier fucking content for you guys tonight, but such is the way of things. And, I make a point to show the good and the bad. So silver lining is that it's not all doom and gloom. We will find a way to get through this, or we won't. But until next time, guys, thanks for fucking passing by, and stay safe out there, and don't fucking quit, man. Don't capitulate. Don't go back to the fucking blue pill. Don't go back. Don't get a job. You're not wrong. They're wrong, and they're punishing for you because you're fucking right. So keep telling yourself that. All right, take care, guys.